I'm running for U.S. Congress because I believe the state of Montana deserves to have a representative that has something more than the attitude of a toddler. What's a toddler's favorite word?
No.
No. We have a representative in Congress right now whose favorite word is no. If you send me to Congress, I'm not going to say no. I want to say yes to a lot of things. I want to say yes to policies and legislation that's good for Montana. Things like addressing the minimum wage. At $7.25 an hour, why do we even bother having a federal minimum wage? We need to substantially raise that so that people working in the service and other industries can actually have some chance of living on the wages that they earn. We need to say yes to rural Montana by standing up to the meatpacking monopoly in industrial agriculture that really is the culprit for making it extremely difficult for family farms and ranches to continue to exist in this state. We need to say yes to things like better access to affordable health care so that people can work and live and not worry about some type of illness or catastrophic accident wiping out any modicum of savings or financial stability that they've earned over a life of working. So I'm about saying yes, not about saying no. And I hope you'll support me in this run for Congress. I sure appreciate you and really look forward to the opportunity to work with you in the future.
Does everybody in this room know your background?
Does everybody in this room know my background? I don't. Judith wanted me to keep this to about 5 minutes or so, but I'm happy to tell you about my background. Okay. My background, I grew up on a ranch in western Montana, west of Three Forks. I attended Three Forks High School. If you've driven Interstate 90 between Butte and Bozeman, you've passed through the family ranch, okay, west of Three Forks. I was educated at Yellowstone Baptist College, now Yellowstone Christian College, then went on to seminary, taught at MSU Billings for about 15 years, but also worked in the construction trades, roofing, doing various things while I taught at MSU Billings. I pastored a little church in Superior, Montana for a couple years and was there when the Crown Pacific lumber mill closed down and devastated that little community. I mean, of my little flock there, half of the people were gone within 3 months. And so I've seen the challenges that people face in rural Montana making a living. Moved to Red Lodge about 13 years ago. For the last roughly 20 years, I've made most of my living as an outdoor writer and photographer. I write big game hunting, fly fishing, wildlife conservation articles, that sort of thing. I really have a passion in this election for trying to rejuvenate the Democratic Party in rural Montana. We can't continue to win in this state when we lose rural counties by 80 to 20, 75-25 margins. And we need to engage people. We need to engage those rural voters on issues that are meaningful to them. Those are things like what I mentioned in relation to agriculture, the concentration of power in agriculture in the hands of really just a handful of corporations in the United States. When I was a kid, every little community worried about losing their school or having to consolidate with another school system to survive. Out in eastern Montana, where I used to supervise student teachers occasionally when I taught at MSU Billings, the schools have serious challenges. You don't have the tax base to make upgrades to your infrastructure. A lot of times, dealing with school buildings that were built in the 1920s, teachers are underpaid. There's oftentimes a revolving door in rural communities to where you get teachers that are fresh out of college. They do a good job, they stay for 1 year, maybe 2, and then they're gone to another school. And what level of government has the ability to address those kind of problems? Rural counties, rural school districts don't have the tax base to make needed infrastructure upgrades to their school systems. They have to have help at the federal level. And I believe that's also true for things like teacher salaries. So I really feel like we as Democrats have lots of opportunities to reach rural voters in rural communities. The drought and fire season that we had this year is an opportunity to reach those voters too. The wheat crop in Montana this year was the worst it's been since 1988, okay? I have friends that ranch in eastern Montana, and they're telling me that the cow-calf ranching operations in eastern Montana are going to sell off all, or probably at best 50% of their mother cows, because they have no grass and hay is not available, and if you can find it, you can't afford it. So those people are hurting. I'm planning this winter, December, January, early February, where ag people are kind of twiddling their thumbs, there's not too much to do a whole series of what we're going to call family farm and ranch forums, where we go to those communities and just listen to ag producers and talk to them about the challenges they're facing. So we can do better. We can do way better in rural Montana than 80-20, 75-25. We just need a message.
I'll make the observation that your credentials in this area are much better than your opponents.
Well, unlike Matt Rosendale, who has claimed to be a rancher, who has never owned a cow in the state of Montana, has never registered a brand in the state of Montana. I don't claim to be a rancher, but I lived the life, and I actually, from 1993 to 2003, had a registered brand in Montana and owned cattle. So, thank you.